John chapter 15 verses 1 to 27, the vine and the branches. I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful.
You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you.
Remain in me, and I will remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself, it must remain in the vine.
Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me.
I am the vine, you are the branches.
If a man remains in me and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing.
If anyone does not remain in me, he is like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire and burned.
If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be given you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples.
As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love.
If you obey my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have obeyed my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this, so that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be complete.
My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business.
Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit that will last. Then the Father will give you whatever you ask in my name.
This is my command: love each other.
If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first.
If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world.
That is why the world hates you. Remember the words I spoke to you. No servant is greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you also.
If they obeyed my teaching, they will obey yours also.
They will treat you this way because of my name, for they do not know the one who sent me.
If I had not come and spoken to them, they would not be guilty of sin. Now, however, they have no excuse for their sin. He who hates me hates my Father as well. If I had not done among them what no one else did, they would not be guilty of sin.
But now they have seen these miracles, and yet they have hated both me and my Father. But this is to fulfill what is written in their law. They hated me without reason. When the Counselor comes, whom I will send to you from the Father, the Spirit of truth, who goes out from the Father, he will testify about me. And you also must testify, for you have been with me from the beginning.
Jesus then explained the vine and the branches represent the church.
The vine is me. The head of the church and the branches are my disciples or shepherds.
My Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. The fruits represent the sheep or souls saved. Those branches that bear much fruit are good shepherds, and those that bear no fruit are bad shepherds.
Jesus then said, as you all can see, the establishment of the church haven't even started yet.
The parables of the fig tree, talents, money usage, and workers in the vineyard are all parables about the future church. Some of these parables, in fact, most of them are directed at shepherds or future disciples of mine. Luke chapter 13 verses 6 to 9, the fruitless fig tree.
Then he told this parable. A man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he went to look for fruit on it, but did not find any. So he said to the man who took care of the vineyard for 3 years now, I've been coming to look for fruit on this fig tree and haven't found any.
Cut it down. Why should it use up the soil?
Sir, the man replied, leave it alone for 1 more year, and I'll dig around it and fertilize it. If it bears fruit next year, fine.
If not, then cut it down. Luke said, I still don't quite understand this parable. Explain to me more clearly.
Jesus said, you still do not understand, because this parable is actually about the church, and the church hadn't even started yet.
This is what this parable means. The fruitless fig tree represents a worthless disciple of mine. a pastor or shepherd, and the figs represent the souls that he had saved. Since the number of figs he produced is so little, this means that he is a worthless and money-grabbing shepherd, and he deserves to be terminated from his profession as a shepherd or disciple of mine. This is what I meant when I said to the fig tree, "May you never bear fruit again." Simon Peter asked, "You mean that day when you cursed the fig tree by the road, which did not have fruit on it?" Matthew chapter 21 verses 18 to 22. The fig tree withers.
Early in the morning, as he was on his way back to the city, he was hungry.
Seeing a fig tree by the road, he went up to it but found nothing on it except leaves. Then he said to it, "May you never bear fruit again."
Immediately the tree withered.
When the disciples saw this, they were amazed. "How did the fig tree wither so quickly?" they asked. Jesus replied, "I tell you the truth, if you have faith and do not doubt, not only can you do what was done to the fig tree, but also you can say to this mountain, 'Go, throw yourself into the sea,' and it will be done."
If you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer. Matthew chapter 25 verses 14 to 30. The parable of the talents.
Again, the kingdom of heaven will be like a man going on a journey, who called his servants and entrusted his property to them.
To one he gave 5 talents of money, to another 2 talents, and to another 1 talent, each, according to his ability.
Then he went on his journey.
The man who had received the 5 talents went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 more. So also the one with the 2 talents gained 2 more.
But the man who had received the 1 talent went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them.
The man who had received the 5 talents brought the other 5.
"Master," he said, "you entrusted me with 5 talents. See, I have gained 5 more."
His master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness."
The man with the 2 talents also came.
"Master," he said, "you entrusted me with 2 talents. See, I have gained 2 more." His master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things.
Come and share your master's happiness." Then the man who had received the 1 talent came. "Master," he said, "I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed.
So I was afraid and went out and hid your talent in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you."
His master replied, "You wicked, lazy servant.
So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed? Well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers, so that when I returned I would have received it back with interest.
Take the talent from him and give it to the one who has the 10 talents.
For everyone who has will be given more, and he will have an abundance.
Whoever does not have, even what he hath will be taken from him. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Luke chapter 19 verses 11 to 27, Parable of money usage.
While they were listening to these things, Jesus went on to tell a parable because he was near Jerusalem, and they supposed that the kingdom of God was going to appear immediately. So he said, "A nobleman went to a distant country to receive a kingdom for himself, and then return. And he called 10 of his slaves and gave them 10 minas, and said to them, 'Do business with this until I come back.' But his citizens hated him and sent a delegation after him, saying, 'We do not want this man to reign over us.'
When he returned after receiving the kingdom, he ordered that these slaves, to whom he had given the money, be called to him so that he might know what business they had done. The first appeared, saying, 'Master, your mina has made 10 minas more.' And he said to him, 'Well done, good slave, because you have been faithful in a very little thing. You are to be in authority over 10 cities.'
The second came, saying, 'Your mina, master, has made 5 minas.' And he said to him also, 'And you are to be over 5 cities.'
Another came, saying, 'Master, here is your mina, which I kept put away in a handkerchief.'
He said to him, 'By your own words, I will judge you, you worthless slave. Did you know that I am an exacting man, taking up what I did not lay down, and reaping what I did not sow?
Then why did you not put my money in the bank, and having come, I would have collected it with interest? Then he said to the bystanders, Take the mina away from him, and give it to the one who has the 10 minas. And they said to him, Master, he has 10 minas already. I tell you that to everyone who has, more shall be given, but from the one who does not have, even what he does have shall be taken away.
But these enemies of mine, who did not want me to reign over them, bring them here and slay them in my presence.
Jesus said, The parables of the talents and money usage is not about making money, but about saving lives. The money used is just a means to an end, that is to save lives.
In these parables, the talents and minas actually represent souls or sheep that are saved by the servants or slaves, who are my disciples or shepherds of my sheep, and the master is me.
More sheep or churches will be given to the good shepherd to take care of, while the bad shepherd will have no sheep or church to take care of, for even what little church he has shall be taken away from him. The nobleman who returned after receiving the kingdom is me. After receiving the kingdom means after establishing the new covenant. These enemies of mine, who do not want me to reign over them, are the unrepentant non-believers.